Welcome back to Brotherly Beliefs, Faith, Family, and Fun. I'm Malik.
And I'm Tristan. Join us for candid conversations about life's tapestry, from the faith that binds us to the family that shapes us to the pure fun woven in every moment. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this episode of Brotherly Beliefs.
So what we got today, Tristan?
So we're a fourth of the way through the year.
Yeah.
It's been a long road.
Yeah, already.
Ups and downs.
It was a crazy beginning, that's for sure.
Pregnancy for both of us now.
Yeah. Losses for both of us.
Yeah. What milestones have you hit? What goals have you hit so far?
So far, I don't know. I don't think I've hit any yet.
One thing, right, because we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, right, where you were saying that you wanted to spend more time with your family. You've been doing that?
Oh,
Staying
yeah.
on top of yourself with that?
Yeah, for
Good.
sure.
Right. And what goals have I hit? I got my specialist back.
Yeah.
I did. I'm unflagged. That took long enough. Flight school.
Yeah, that's in the works.
Flight school is in August. Yeah. But where do you want to be?
Is there more you can give us about flight school?
Flight school. So basically it's a 2-year program, and I'll go in and I'll do my flight school classes, 3 hours out of the day, fly for an hour, 2 hours. I'm saying a lot, but
No, you're good.
no, so I go and I fly and get all of my certifications all the way up until flight instructor. I'll graduate with, I'll have to do gen ed, which is what I'm not looking forward to because I just want to fly.
Yeah.
I don't want the gen eds, but
Right.
I'll get associates in commercial piloting. And I graduate with 1,000 of my flight hours, and I need 1250 to be a commercial pilot. And so once I graduate, I can go and be a flight instructor, apply for different flight schools, and their hours count as my hours. So then make the other 250 up and fly.
Yeah.
Go anywhere.
Yeah, that's dope, man. For real. You ever see yourself buying yourself your own plane?
Yeah, 100%. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because then I can go anywhere.
Right. True.
Anybody goes up with me. That's the thing is, I get a wild hair at my butt and decide I want to go to Alaska this day and this day. I'm like, who's coming with me? We all pitch in for fuel. That's it.
Yeah.
And which is way cheaper than tickets. And we all fly with a 60-seater. I want to get a private jet at one point.
Yeah.
But obviously, you work your way up to that. But even a 6-seater, me, you, Jason, Morgan, Caitlin, Savannah, 6 people, just fly to Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska or wherever. That's dope, man. For real. So
the Bahamas, Mexico, anywhere.
Right. You see yourself, because obviously flying a plane in a helicopter is different, right?
I thought about getting my rotary,
actually.
I thought about going warrant officer in the Army for rotary, and that way I'm certified both.
Right.
And then I can do Grace Med, which is medevac, or search and rescue teams. You can do search and rescue in a plane, though.
Really?
Yeah, they have plane search and rescues.
So how does that work? Because I know helicopters, you have more places to land than planes, right? Or how do they differ?
So it'd be search and rescue, right? So you're doing the searching. You can cover more ground in a plane than you can in a helicopter.
Really?
Oh, I want to say, I'm pretty sure. So you just got to get low altitude certified, and you can fly low.
Yeah. That's crazy. I never thought of that.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
like when like things happen in the ocean, people get lost in the ocean. Planes go and find them.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Is there any other things that you like accomplished so far, or is still in the works?
It's still in the works. It's still in the works. We can't. I don't put all my business out
Yeah,
there. You know,
yeah, facts. Yeah,
all cards can't be on the table.
right.
But,
I hear you.
no, really, that's really it. Like,
How would you say the pregnancy's going? Like for you, like don't even speak about Caitlin right now. Just say how's it going for you?
It's great. This is the best way I can explain it, and I've been asked this a lot of times. It's the best and worst thing that I've ever experienced, right? And even the bad is great,
Right.
right? Because we looked forward to it for so long that now that it's here, it's like we like even
Like soak it up.
yeah
Yeah.
like even the bad, like, oh, I've been looking for the bad parts too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Get the full experience.
yeah,
soak
exactly.
It up like
That's
a
exactly what it
sponge.
is.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
What about your pregnancy?
What about mine?
Yeah, this is the second one.
Man, it's so different. Like the first one, I was like you, and like even the bad was like, man, like I wanted to experience it. We were fighting so hard for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it went fast, but it was kind of slow too at the same time because
The first one or the second one?
the first. I'm talking about the first right now. So it was like slow and fast at the same time because we were like really like just waiting for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have a son and we're on to our second one, we're still excited and the joy is still there, but it's going a lot faster because we're like so in the moment with everything that's happening right now. We don't really want to speed past, and then miss out on everything with Zay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're soaking in the moment of him growing and all that. So I feel like in the midst of that, like the pregnancy's flying by. And I feel like this pregnancy, speaking for myself, has been a lot easier. And I mean, obviously it's easy. I'm not carrying a child.
Yeah.
But as far as helping out or as far as like kind of being the pillow when it comes to like her getting upset, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It hasn't been as hard on me this time, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's because we're so focused on like everything else going on or if that's because like this pregnancy is just different in general. But it's been pretty smooth.
Do you think that it could be easier because you kind of knew what to expect because you already went through it once? The pregnancy attitude, the switching, like the pregnancy mood swings, all of this. Do you think it's easier to just be that pillow and just take it because it is your second one?
I yes and no, because the first one, the pregnancy attitudes and stuff like that was worse than this ride.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's easier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that part. As far as what was the other thing you said? You asked me.
Like, do you think the first one prepared you for all of it? Like all of the mood swings, highs and lows, whatever it may be. Do you think it makes it all easier because you kind of know what to expect?
Yeah, it does for sure. Now, one thing that is harder is her high blood pressure, of course. It was an issue with the first one, but it didn't come until maybe about this time. But now this time she's like 7 months, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
8 months. But this time around, that's what's the hardest thing right now is because she's working, back then she was doing a stay-at-home job, she sat at a desk. But now she's like a PCT, so she's all over the hospital, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was diagnosed with preeclampsia the first time. Now she was diagnosed with it again, but it came a lot sooner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The signs were showing sooner and all that. So it's just having to worry about it, you know what I mean? Have to like watch it, and it's kind of scary, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, man.
That's what I think would be the hardest part right now.
Yeah, and I agree. And Caitlin has heart problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin's 2.5 months pregnant. I had to do the math.
Yeah.
2.5 months pregnant, and she's like strangely, like severely out of breath, like walking from one side of the room to the other, and it's worrisome. It is, and because ultimately there's nothing I can do. Right? I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a doctor. I'm not like.
And that's another thing that harps on us is that like we don't know what to do. It's not that we can't really do anything.
Yeah, and that's like exhaustion, right? I can't do nothing
Yeah.
for exhaustion. I can't. I can tell you to call into work, but ultimately, do you make the decision not to? I can't force you to. I can tell you to take a nap.
And then you got to worry about the job too, because a lot of times I want Savannah to call into work, but then that risks her losing her job. You know what
100%.
I mean? So even to struggle with that, trying to get the accommodations in order for her high blood pressure and pregnancy in general, that's a struggle as well.
Yeah, and I agree, man. And it's kind of hard. Like as a man, I think it's hard to know what is needed in the moment. That's one thing I noticed. Like before pregnancy, I kind of had a had a really really hard time. No, had a really hard or really easy time knowing what things to do for whatever it may be. And okay, you're hungry. Let's go get food. Okay, you have an attitude. You're probably just hungry or you need a nap or da 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 da. Right? I kind of know her well enough, but now she's an entirely different person. Right? And then there's things that I can't control. Right? I can't control that your back hurts or your boobs hurt. Right? I can't control it. I can just, I'm sorry. Like, how can I help you right now? Or you're just overstimulated and everything's bothering you. And, like, how do I help? Like, because I've never done this before. Neither of us have.
Right.
And so it's kind of trying to get that communication of how do I help? And, like, you have to be able to give me an answer. Like, and I don't know is an acceptable answer because it's okay for you not to know, but then I don't know what to do to help, and so I'm gonna try different things. And either it's gonna help or it's gonna only piss you off more. And so
it's a learning experience as a whole.
100%.
And even though this is my second ride, I still don't even have all the answers. You know what I mean? So
because it's a different thing every day.
Yeah, for sure.
It really is. Here's what I was gonna ask you. So Zaylin was 2 or 3 months old when you guys got pregnant again?
I want to say 2.5.
Would you have waited longer to have to get pregnant again?
The original thought was that we were going to wait until the next year. He was born May 21st, so we was either going to wait until January or just somewhere around that time to where it was a good enough gap, but they still were close, you know what I mean? So, I mean, we were just playing Russian roulette. So, I mean, that's what the original plan was, but I mean, I'm not upset, or we weren't upset or anything about how it turned out to be, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be pretty cool that they're so close in age, you know what I mean? So
100%.
They'll be able to grow up together, experience everything.
Because that's what I want. That's what I want. I want my kids with like a year apart.
Right.
And the only way to do that is like 3 months. Back to back. And we've had the conversation of waiting 8 months. 8 months. And that way when she has the baby will be 18. The first child will be 18 months. New baby will be just being born, obviously. Right. And so that we have that 1.5 year gap. So it's still close, but not like too far apart. Yeah. Because I want a lot of kids, man.
Yeah. You said you wanted 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
5 under 5 is the goal, man.
Yeah.
Because then it just consecutively out the house, right? Yeah. So I'll be 23 when the baby's born. 28, we'll be on our last kid. What's 28 plus 18? 36?
Mm-hmm.
36, I'll have no kids in my house.
Yep.
I'll be done.
Yep.
Not done as in stop being a parent. Done as in I have no kids in my house.
Wait, you said 28 plus 18 is 36? That's not right.
No, it's 42.
40. Yeah.
No, it's 46.
Yeah, 46. Yeah.
But 46. Still.
Right. Yeah, and that's still young.
45 years old.
Yeah. All your kids is out the house, and you had 5 kids. That's
because
cool.
they're not gonna have a planned midlife crisis. Right? I've thought about this, right? Because everybody, when they get 40, they get this like, I want to be young again thing, right?
Mm.
Boom, 46, no kids, planned midlife crisis, right?
Mm.
I sell all of my stuff, all of my every possession I own, and I just hop on a cruise ship for a year. What?
A cruise for a year?
Yes, there's cruise ships that go for a year.
That's crazy. I don't know, bro. I'd miss land. I think a week would be good for me.
Nah.
I don't know.
No.
But at the same time, I've never been on a cruise, so I don't know.
Cruise for a year, good, great.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm so serious too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even playing. Like,
So what would you do after the year is up?
or even if I did a year of flying, right? Because I'll
Yeah.
have my pilot license and hopefully a plane by then. Sell everything but my plane. Boom. Just fly to different places across the world.
So what would you do after? Like you get that year of cruising in or flying in. What's your next step?
Who knows? Depends. Well, if I'm a pilot, then I just go back to flying.
Yeah, true. Man. So what do you think that's going to be like, juggling 5 kids and also pursuing your career?
So I've thought about this, right? So in the first 2 years, I'll have 1 kid for 18 months and being pregnant. And then I'll have, when I graduate flight school, I'll have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. There's not much, like, and then what? I do 6 months to a year of flight instructor, get my hours, and I'm still getting paid to be a flight instructor and getting my hours.
Yeah. So what's that like, going from flight instructor to being a pilot? Like
So I'll be a pilot, right? So I'll have my wings and everything, but I won't be FFA certified. So to be FFA certified, you have to have 258 hours for the commercial pilot certificate. Airlines between 1,000 and 1,200, right? And so it says 2 years to get. 2 years is about the average time it takes. But then once you're FFA certified, it's just applying to airlines. They either deny you or you don't. We have a bunch. We have an airport here.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Is there like a certain state that you would like, because you'd have to live there, a certain state, right, in order to work for airlines?
Nope. I can fly for like American here, right? And then I get on like, and then you can. So say I'm doing the Dallas flights, right? So boom, I fly from here to Dallas, back here.
Okay, yeah. I guess that makes sense. So I guess wherever you would live, you would make sure that it just goes back and forth.
No, and you can just, but so there's closed circuits like that, and then there's, I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, right. So and then I just fly from here to there, right, and that's just what I work, right, and then if I go anywhere else, I just fly, like, if I decide I want to move to Dallas, right? DFW is right there. I fly from DFW to wherever else and fly back.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Because the only reason I asked that is because with me, I know with filmmaking, it varies on a bunch of different things. So, like, I think what I want to do would be, like, creating content for like certain brands or something like that, even if it's just myself or if I'm filming somebody else for their content page,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or if I'm filming a basketball game, like highlight reels or football games, just I think things like that, or even music videos, you know what I mean? But the higher end things like movies and movies, TV shows, podcasts, just things like that. You know what I mean? It could take up a lot of time and scheduling. Like they're on set every day, all day for hours. Like you know what I mean? For months even. So it's with that and having the two kids that I have. I would miss out on their life if I were
Oh,
going
you
to.
mean in that aspect?
Yeah, I
Oh,
would miss out on their life if I was to go into the cinema movie kind of thing. But I think with the way that I want to do, just like just being my own boss, you know what I mean, videographer, and I can accept clients whenever I want, deny whenever I want, or schedule however I want, you know what I mean? So that way I'm getting that good mix of my family and work, you know?
yeah. That's a good question. And so I'm not sure, really, right? I don't know what the scheduling would be. I don't know if I would be like 30 days on, a week off, like type of thing,
Yeah.
or what, right? So, because you could do overnight, right, where you wake up and you have to fly back.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a lot of factors that go into it. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We'll see when we get there.
Yeah. It's a crazy ride because, like, you don't know exactly how that schedule's going to be, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, the plan is to be my own boss. That's why I have my business now. But, I mean, it's ultimately wherever God wants me to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that goes with following his plan
It's
for
like
you as well.
if a high-end production team called you, right, or reached out to you right now
Right.
and said, hey, we're shooting for the next 15 days for such and such a movie. Are you in or out?
Right, yeah. Like obviously I'm gonna take that, and then me taking that will probably end up me like staying in that. You know what I mean? And obviously I could try and like branch out and do my own thing because that'll look good on the resume anyways. But yeah, for a good part of my life, that's not gonna be where I end up. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and that's like genuinely, I can tell you, like ultimately, who knows if when I finish flight school, if I even become a pilot, right?
Right,
That's
yeah.
the truth. This is what I want to do, but is this God's plan for me?
Right, exactly. You gotta ask yourself that sometimes, and then just praying every day too. You know what I mean? Just like leading me down the path you have written out for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. And who knows? I could be like, and I've thought about it a million times of what I want to do when I finish school, right? Because there's so many avenues you can go, right? I could be commercial pilot, but I could also fly business jets and be a pilot in that aspect. There's a million ways to go, but which one is it going to be for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So would you? I know you want to do commercial and all that, and you're still in the military. So would you prefer commercial or would you prefer to fly like for military and things like that?
Oh, for the Army? Oh.
Oh yeah, Army. Yeah, my bad.
Good question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because obviously it's different. But like
It is, but it is not in the Army, right? So the Army doesn't have any fixed wing like airplanes that have weaponry on them.
no, but like the probable cause in a whole, you know what I mean? With commercial airlines, you're just flying passengers to a destination, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like, see you guys later. You know what I'm saying? But for the Army and things like that, you guys are going on missions and things like that. So it's serious, you know? I mean, obviously it's serious with commercial, but it's just a different mindset, I guess you would say.
But if I flew for the military, I'd want to, number one, I'd want to be in the Air Force, and I'd fly A-10s, 100%.
Yeah.
A-10 Warthogs are the coolest freaking plane ever.
Yeah.
Like, not even kidding. Like, it's a plane that was built around a gun.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of a A10?
No.
It literally sounds just like this.
Mm.
I'm not kidding. When you hear A10s shoot, they just go
That's crazy.
like
So
awesome.
clear
mountainside.
So what made you decide to go into the Army for the branch of military instead of, you know what I mean?
I had 100% guarantee like job placement.
Oh.
Without a doubt.
So you didn't with the other branch?
Marines, you don't get your job assignment until after boot camp. Air Force, I'm not sure. And Navy, you get like a possible MOS. They don't call it MOS. I think we're the ones who call it MOS, but yeah.
That's crazy.
And that's the other thing is like I genuinely enjoy the Army, right? I enjoy that leadership aspect of it. I enjoy it all. Enjoy it all. Goodness.
That was crazy.
I enjoy it all, but I don't think I can do it. I don't think I lost my train of thought.
Talk about enjoying the.
I enjoy leadership. Yeah. I enjoy all of it. I enjoy teaching soldiers like teaching soldiers things, and yeah, I really do enjoy it all. But at some point, I gotta move on.
Yeah.
Whether that's like flying for the military or flying civilian wise, that's what I want to do. And so
right.
it would be hypocritical. That's how I see it. It would be hypocritical for me to preach to my kids to chase their dreams and I never chased mine.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
You only fail when you give up.
Yep.
That's the truth.
Yep.
And so, or you fail when you don't try.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and there's, who knows? Maybe you become a millionaire and I'm your private pilot and I just fly you place to place, you know?
Right, yeah.
I'm just on your books.
Yeah.
League production employee.
Yeah, for real.
That's what my W-2
like
says.
Yeah, W-2. Yeah. No, but that's crazy to see, like, where life could take us, you know what I mean? Like,
and podcast blows up and we need to go anywhere in the world and we're just well, we'll charge the business credit card. It's all a tax write-off anyway.
Yeah.
Jet fuel's a tax write-off. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like I said, it's crazy where life takes us because, 10 years ago, we didn't think we would be having kids right now. You know what I mean? Or I for sure did. I didn't think I would have my own family right now.
10 years ago, I'd have been almost 13. No.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about kids at 13.
Right.
Actually, I had a pregnancy scare at 15.
Even 5 years ago, I wasn't thinking about that. You did?
Yeah, I got a girl pregnant.
What happened with that?
Okay, here we go. Basically, I had sex with this girl in the auditorium at school. Didn't use condom, whatever else. This was shortly before winter break. I had my sister's half-sister drop me off at her house, right? Her aunt's house. I was going to sneak in the fire escape, do whatever, right? The fire escape had an alarm on it. She opened the window, and I just hear the alarm going off, right? Mm-hmm. I kid you not. I'm hiding against the wall. The window's right here. I can see this woman, like, messing with the window, and I'm hiding, like, all the way against the wall. And I'm like, I'm about to get caught up. She's about to call the cops.
Yeah.
And so I'm hiding. Boom. She leaves. I hop out. Leave. And we ended up... I dropped my phone. And we ended up coming back to get my phone. It was a whole mess, man.
Dang.
She ended up telling him that it was me, that I was there to come over. Da 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 da. Guess it's, and this is during winter break now.
Mm.
So during winter break, I guess she finds out she's pregnant. I don't know this, right? She don't got a phone, nothing, right? She finds out she's pregnant. She has an abortion without telling me, right?
Yeah.
And so January 3rd, day after we get back to school, she's in the office, right? And I'm like trying to talk to her through the window, but her parents are right there. She gets pulled out of school, out of Northeast, and moved back to Circle High School out in Towanda.
Dang.
And this isn't funny. And then she texted me a few days later on Snapchat. Snapchatted me and was like, "Hey, I was pregnant and I had an abortion." Da, 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 da.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Dang.
I was 10 years. I could have had a 10-year-old.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on that? Like when she told you that, what were you thinking?
Mom scared the crap out of me, right? So, because I knew beforehand, right? I knew before she texted me on Snapchat. Let me get the story right. That day, guess her parents tell the principal what happened when she's getting moved schools, and they call my mom and tell my mom what happened. Auditorium, I went over there, all of the details.
Dang.
Right? And I get home from school, and my mom and dad are both there. Not normal, right? My mom works for the school district, dad works at Spirit. Like, usually it'd be weird if dad beat us home.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're both there. I take the dog out. Bring the dog back in. My mom's like, go back outside. Take the dog for a walk, right? Because I took the dog to go to the bathroom. She said, take the dog for a walk. We're talking, right? Boom, leave. I'm just standing outside the window of the apartment, of like the townhouse, so I can hear everything that's being said, and I'm like, but she's being vague. Like, I've missed the beginning of the conversation, so I can't tell exactly what she's talking about, but I have an idea, right? And I'm like, so boom, I go back inside. She's like, Tristan, come in here. I sit down on the couch. She was like, so when you were working on that after-school project, what were you actually doing? I said, oh, I was working, like, I was in the, I think we were in the gym or something. I don't remember where we were at. But it was Mr. Bell's class. And I was like, oh, yeah, you can ask Mr. Bell. I was there, da-da-da-da. She's like, Tristan. Oh, she said, so you didn't go to the auditorium after school before winter break? I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm caught. No, there's no way. There's no way out of this. There's no way I talk my way out of this. I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, oh, what'd you do in there? Well, was just working on my project. Oh, so you didn't have sex with some girl in the auditorium? I said.
It's like you knew it was rap, so you still tried to lie your way out.
I said, yeah, I did. She's like, oh, well, she's pregnant. I'm like,
Damn.
She's like, what are you going to do? Can you support a kid? Do you have a job? I'm not raising a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like sitting there looking at her. He's like, well, good thing she's not pregnant anymore. And leaves it at that, right? And so that's how I found out. And later I found out that she did have an abortion and everything. But, yeah.
That's crazy. That's heck all out.
Yeah, man, I used to be crazy. I used to be wild.
Yeah.
I used to get my meat sucked underneath the stairs at school.
Okay. Yeah, bro. So even 5 years ago, I would have never seen myself in this situation. I thought I was gonna go to Florida and then be at a film school. I knew film was what I wanted to do for like a while. Even when I was
like film school, as in like for videography.
Yeah. Just like filmmaking as a whole, you know what I mean? Working with cameras.
So why don't you go to school?
Because I don't really need it. It's obviously there's things that you can go to school for, like you need a degree for like law
Yeah, you
school and
don't need
things
a
like that.
degree, right? But it
Yeah,
looks good on
yeah,
a resume.
right. But more people prefer it as far as videography. They prefer experience over a degree. Like I've talked to several different filmmakers and things like that, and some of them have stories where school just like f them, and when they tried to go for like bigger like production companies outside of school, they were like, oh, you just got out of college, like we're just gonna give you like the low ball, you know what I mean, because you need the money, you know what I'm saying, you paid all this money for school and all that, and I wasn't getting enough like scholarships and all that to pay for it. I was paying for my first year and a half just straight out of pocket, just part time,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I did go to school at first, but I learned so much more outside of school than I did in school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So in for I do want to be I don't only want to be, but I want to be a sports videographer. To be a sports videographer in the NFL, I believe you need a bachelor's degree. So that's something that I potentially could be missing out on. But I mean, if I seek an opportunity where they let me slide on that, then maybe, you know what I mean? I've
Is
got
it
all this
is it the
experience.
same with the NBA?
I believe so. I wouldn't see it being any different. I have to look into it. I've looked into more football than I have basketball. But um, yeah, so like I said, with filmmaking and things like that, they would much rather you have an experience than a degree. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the only reason I stopped going to school was because I needed to go to third shift for my job because they wanted me to come in person. I had taken all the online classes, and they didn't give me the third shift in time, so I had to drop my classes. So then during that period of me not going to school, I just moved on, started getting the ball rolling for myself, and got my own camera equipment and all that, and I started shooting myself. So, like I said, I've learned more outside of school than I did in school, and obviously that's not the case for other people's
Would
like
you ever go back?
degrees. I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't think I will, but I think it would be cool because the school that I wanted to go to in general is called Full Sails University.
Mm.
That's a big film school in Florida.
Yeah.
So based in Orlando, Florida, or whatever. When I was going to put in application and things like that, it just wouldn't work out. It was in-person class because obviously filming, like I said, it takes up your whole day for weeks, months. It was basically a full-time job, but there was no housing. So I'd be like living in my 1999 Honda Accord that
Yeah.
didn't run well in the heat. Obviously, it's hot out there, and just going to school. You know what I mean? Wouldn't have time for a job or anything like that. So, and even as far as like time and all that, they shoot at different times of the day depending on what scene they want and all that jazz. So it's just different stuff like that that's just like pushed me in school further away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
100%. Um, what else? Where do you want your company to go this year?
This year,
Where do you want to be by the end of the year?
I want more exposure for sure. I feel like I am I'll say experienced and talented enough to be working with more people than I am right now, for one, and for two, uh, more like brands. Like I wouldn't say brands as far as like Nike or something like that, because I see myself getting more experience before I start working with bigger brands like that. But as far as like smaller brands, like maybe even like Carter's, like babies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I can see myself working for like just like brands on that kind of scale. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I definitely want to get um, more experience this year. I want more exposure, and I want to pick up the camera more than I did last year. Last year, I think I filmed more vertical than I did landscape, like as a whole. You know what I mean? So I would definitely want to get back into filming more landscape, more things like that,
Yeah.
and just getting more into the cinematography kind of thing. So that'll help me as far as filmmaking as well. Last year I learned a lot as far as like color grading. I practically learned everything, like as far as like everything I know so far last year, as far as color grading, as far as sequencing, export settings, just camera settings in general, white balance, all that different stuff, and frame rates. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot of that last year. My first year with it, I was just like recording it. You know what I mean? I didn't really understand everything that goes into it, but I got the basics and fundamentals down and all that, and color grading and all that. So yeah, I just want more editing experience and all that.
So when you say experience, do you mean both? So I'm assuming you mean both clientele and self-initiated, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, when you say exposure, right? Do you, by the end of the year, do you want to be working with these bigger brands, or do you want to be on their radar? Bigger difference.
Yeah.
When you
I'll
said
say
goals.
I'll say at the end of the year, I want to at least be on their radar. Because speaking realistically, I have 2 kids. I have another one on the way.
You have 2 kids. What?
I'm going to have 2 kids.
Yeah. I was confused.
So, yeah, speaking realistically, I'm going to be putting a lot of time into my babies, my family, you know what I mean, this year. And getting my newborn settled. It's going to be in the summer. It'll be halfway through the year already. Still working on the podcast, still working on my videos when I can, you know what I mean? And I just want to be able to make time to at least get bigger projects out, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I want that exposure. With more exposure comes more followers, more active people watching it, like tuning into my stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and more clientele with that as well. So, being realistic, I won't have enough time to like learn as much as I could, like if I didn't have so much on my plate right now. But I definitely want to be on the radar for bigger brands coming like at the end of the year.
So, right, we've been talking about all this, but how far are you willing to go, right? So, if a brand hit you up and they were in Washington State, that's Northwest, right? Would you go?
I'd have to make sure it works out for my family best, because first and foremost, I'd want to. The answer would be like, yeah, like I want to, but I have to lay that foundation for my family as well. And this goes for anything moving anywhere, you know what I mean? So, and
no, I wouldn't even say moving, right? I wouldn't say a long-term gig. I'd say a 2-day shoot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so, Savannah would be down to, like, obviously, like, watch my back for that, too. And depending on, like, my experience and all that, I can do prices differently and things like that. So if I need a bigger budget for whatever they need, then I'll be able to, obviously I'm going to need a room, so I can bring my family with me, and just when I'm filming or whatever, they do their own thing or wherever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I come home to the hotel with them. But if I'm not in that bigger budget scale yet, then obviously they'd stay here and I travel by myself and then come back. And Savannah, you know, she's my partner, so she's gonna work with me, and same I would do for her.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I've thought about it too, right? Because if we were like reaching out for guests for the podcast, even like, and we had to go to them, what position does that put us in, right? Could we do it? Could we be like, okay, we gotta make a turnaround trip to, I don't know, Dallas, right? Because we can do that in a turnaround trip.
And then with our podcast, it's different because we're not charging people to be on the podcast. You know what I mean? We'd be doing it solely to benefit us in the podcast.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously to get that person like some more exposure if we can, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we'd be coming out of our own pockets to make that trip and all that. So with filmmaking and things like that, obviously they're gonna think about travel fees for me to be able to
Yeah.
get there,
100%.
how I'm gonna be able to how I'm gonna be able to sleep or where I'm gonna lay my head, how I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? Right now, I've got a shoot planned out in Houston. Dude's thinking the end of May, so we're or March. We're planning that right now.
Never
He,
heard this.
yeah, yeah. It's. I don't have a date set yet, but right now it's since I don't have that big of a like a production company right now. Right now, it's just solely so I can get that experience right now. So all that I'm charging him is just the travel fee, and then like $100, just $100 going towards myself, and then the rest is just paying for myself to get there and film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's it's just kind of how you want that to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause,
But and how does that work, right? So when you're coming up with these travel fees and right, because I'm assuming he's paying for travel fees, room and board, and stuff like that. So
yeah.
so how does that price? How do you come up with that price for people who don't know?
Yeah. So it really depends on obviously where I got to think of how I'm going to get there. Obviously, I'm carrying like all my equipment with me. So equipment, that's a fee in itself because if I were to like get robbed or something like that, all my equipment, you know what I mean? I got to charge a percent of that. Obviously, I'm not going to charge you $3,000 for all my equipment,
Yeah.
but I'm going to charge like a percentage of that. And that's the same thing that I do for like nightclub events and stuff like that too, because um, there's that, what's it called?
Possibility.
Yeah, possibility of my equipment getting broken or
Yeah.
things
Risk
like
versus
that.
reward.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. There's getting there. So are we gonna fly plane or are we gonna drive? 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna drive, but that's covering gas, covering the hotel room, how long we're gonna be staying there. You know what I mean? And food while we're there. And it's just as if you were to travel, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How much would you take for yourself if you were going to travel somewhere for how many days? You know what I mean? So it's just thinking of that and then just my time too, you know what I mean? So all those things go into effect.
Yeah. I was just curious, and I'm sure somebody has the same question,
Yeah.
right? Somebody may be out here attempting to start and doesn't know what to charge,
Mhm.
right? So how did you base your original prices when you first started? How did you base those prices when you were doing photography and videography?
Yeah. So even like I was saying before, it goes as far as budget and experience, you know what I mean? When I was first starting out, I didn't have any experience. So I was doing like free to like maybe $150 on everything I was doing, you know what I mean? So those nightclub events I was doing for the first time, things like that, I only charged $100 to $150, and that was just to cover like if something went wrong with my camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then time. But as I built up the experience and things like that, started learning different things, then those prices went up. And like I said, I was doing a bunch of free stuff, you know what I mean, just to get the like experience and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'd say don't sell yourself short. And like this is going for everybody that's like just starting out with photography and videography. Oh, videography, I was charging $100 to $150 for photography. My max was like $75.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I would charge. But don't sell yourself short. Definitely get your money's worth, but at the same time, just pick up the camera and do free stuff because that's going to get you more exposure. That's going to get you more experience, and it's going to help you learn your camera more, you know what I mean? So that doing the free things like that, sometimes people are like, why are you doing all this stuff for free? You know what I mean? Like my followers is going up because I just work with this person, or my experience is going up because I did something different. You know what I mean? So it's truthfully how you see it. because I just wanted to learn, you know what I mean? And obviously money is a plus, you know what I mean? And I like doing stuff like this. So even with my Houston shooting things like that, I'm not charging a bunch because it's just I want that experience and I want to get that I want to be able to do that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Here's another question: do you own the rights to everything you shoot?
Do I what?
Oh, do you maintain the rights to everything you shoot?
Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, there's with that exposure, I have to be putting out content as well. So with I might shoot a club event, but before I sign that deal or whatever, I'm letting them know, hey, like I'm like everything I'm filming is mine, you know what I mean? And I'm making your video, but I can definitely use these clips for later.
Have you wrote out a contract?
Have I ever outed a
No.
contract?
Have you written out a contract? So when you are being hired, they are signing a contract.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I usually don't do it for like the lower scale projects, you know what I'm saying? But for like things like weddings or something like that, I definitely write contracts out for that because these people are paying a ton of money to have the perfect wedding that they want, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they it's a it's a it's almost dangerous for your business in itself, you know what I mean? Just anything can happen, you know. We're planning this perfect day for these people and you're expecting to do your job and this can be months, years out and you never know what can happen. So you just putting that contract and everything, making sure that you and your business is safe, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely going to help you in the long run.
Okay. Next question. Deposits. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your feelings on deposits?
Definitely need a deposit beforehand because I've had, and this is speaking for everybody.
Refundable or non-refundable?
Non-refundable. Because this is speaking for everybody that does videography or photography or any services. I'll say that because this goes for barbers, like hair techs, lash techs, all that stuff. You're putting your time into somebody else. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, when you don't require a deposit, they'll back out. Like it's not guaranteed, but 9 times out of 10 they'll back out, and then you just set your whole day or that few hours of the day away for somebody else. You know what I mean? And now your time is wasted. So at least with a deposit, I know for sure that I'm getting something out of it. You know what I mean? My time is
and
just wasted.
you're also booking a slot that
Right.
somebody else could be
Exactly.
using.
Yeah. It could be causing you to lose money. It could be causing you to lose out on something that you wanted to do. You know what I mean? So,
Okay,
and
and do
then
you do a set deposit or do you do a percentage?
yeah, I do a set, and that's what I was gonna get into next too, because like I said, it covers your time, it covers it, and people that put in deposits, they're more likely to go through with it than not go through it. You know what I mean? But as far as prices go for deposits, I do $50 for deposits. As far as my max right now is $200, and that's for a music video, and that's for set things in that package. You know what I mean? If you add more, then obviously the price is going to go up. But $50 deposit fee is what I charge for all of my like videos right now. And like I said, I'm done with photography, but $50 for the deposit. There is some people that prefer to do half of the amount, like for a deposit fee.
Yeah, do 50%.
Yeah, exactly. So, only reason I don't do that is because I like to have the satisfaction of like, okay, I'm getting the bigger end of the amount after the job is done. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just my personal preference, but yeah, a lot of people do it like 50%.
Yeah. And so when you do a videography shoot, right? And payment wise, right? You've already got your deposit and everything. Payment wise, are you requiring payment before or after they see the product?
Before.
Good.
Because you can easily get robbed that way, because it's different if I like show you like in person, like here's my phone, this is what it looked like, you know what I'm saying? But if I send you the file, then obviously you have possession of the file right now. And I mean, you could do a contract to where it states that you cannot like publish or post or use the footage at all until the final money is sent. You know what I mean? But to be safe for me, I always let clients know I need the deposit up to 3 days before the event or whatever you want filmed, and then I need the rest of the money like at the time of shooting. You know what I mean? And that could be like after we get done filming or as soon as we get there. You know what I'm saying? But I need it before we leave. So that's how I do things. And if the client isn't happy with the video or whatever, then obviously I'm up to for suggestions or whatever. I can change things in the video, and 9 times out of 10, I'll make sure like I know what they want before I even start editing. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how things go for me.
So we were talking about production team, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to get a photographer on your team at some point?
yeah, for sure, because it even such thing as weddings. You know what I mean? I personally have not gotten booked just by myself for videos for a wedding before. Never had anybody come and say, "Hey, can you shoot my wedding video for me?" You know what I mean? I've always worked as a team with a photographer. Her name is Amari Cooper. She is a big and upcoming photographer in Wichita right now, and she travels and things like that. But she has dope work. But she does photography for weddings and things like that. In her packages, she's like, "Hey, do you want to do a bundle deal with and add a videographer onto this?" You know what I mean? And she always hits me up and like, "Hey, I got a wedding. Do you want to come shoot this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like majority of times, yeah. The only time I said no was because it was too close to the due date of my baby. But yeah, that's the only time that
So
we do
now
things like
when the
that.
baby was born on the 21st, were you would you have been able to shoot knowing that?
No, this is for my next baby right
Oh,
now.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. So that's the only time I've said no, but I do have another one later on in the year. But the way the contracts go with that, if I'm not able to work it, I have to have somebody that's just as like skilled or more in place of me to go film that wedding. You know what I mean? So it just things like that. You know?
Yeah, so it's more of a collaboration. But
Right.
you do want a photographer on your team
Yeah, yeah,
within Leak Productions?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. What other when as you're growing, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, you need more clientele. You need more consistent clientele,
Right.
right? For to start building a team and all of that,
Hmm.
right? Um, do you want to have this production team together and ready to go by the end of the year?
By the end of the year,
Because the way you made it sound is 2025 is going to be your grind out year of where you
right?
put
Yeah.
your career full force and you're just hitting the line running.
Yeah.
Um, so by the end of the year, do you want to at least have ideas of who you want on your production team, or is that constantly? Are you constantly thinking about people who can be on the production team? What is your like mindset?
So right now, as far as hiring people to be on my team, no, I'm not thinking about that right now because, like I said, in the future, I'm thinking about doing stuff. When I say doing like freelance videographer, I'm thinking of just like solely doing it all by myself. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it would be nice, but as far as a big team, I wouldn't really need one unless I was doing bigger scale projects. As far as like big brand like shoots or something like that, or a like those music videos where they're actually like Drake's first person shooter. You know what I mean? Things like that, or Cole Bennett with Lyrical Lemonade or whatever. He does big scale music videos and things like that. So if I was getting to that level, then yeah, I'd want a team. I'd want colorists. I want cinematographers. Obviously, I'd be the director, and then a photographer for behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Pushing out content. I want a content creator. All that kind of stuff. But as of right now, by the end of the year, nah, I can do it by myself. All right.
So ultimately, is your goal to get away from the camera,
No,
to be able to put the camera down and be the director, or
I think
right? Because the director doesn't hold the camera.
right.
You
Yeah,
have a cameraman for that,
exactly. Yeah, the
right?
cinematographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in that sense, sometimes I don't want to always be away from the camera because obviously, as a director, you're the mind of the whole project. You know
The
what I
project
mean?
manager.
Yeah, yeah. So. Um, Obviously I have the ideas and things like that, and I'll run everything the way I want it to be ran. But as far as putting down the camera, no, because that's why I picked it up in general. You know what I mean? To begin with, I love being behind the camera and being able to say, "Yeah, I made this." You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I think of me being a freelance videographer and doing it solo. That's kind of why I think I like it like that.
Yeah, and we've also talked about this here, right? Because
Mm,
even when you get into having like editors and stuff like that, right?
mm,
When you get on this big scale, is now you're in the position where you have to hire editors who have the same creative mind as you or
yeah.
similar,
Mm,
right? Because no one's going to be identical, right? But you have to have somebody similar to what you like and stuff like that, and that goes for a podcast and your business, right? Because
mm,
ultimately you have to like this finished product, right? And
yeah.
it goes down to like everything, right?
Mm.
It's Viget, right? That's how you say it. The blackness in the corners is Viget.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't want to sound stupid if it's not Viget, right? But something as small as putting the Viget into small, or doing a white Viget instead of black,
Mm,
right? What, like, you know what I mean? Like it,
mm,
your preference could have been something different,
right.
and I mean ultimately you can change it. But ultimately, you're a project, you director, project manager, everything, right?
Mm,
You'll have the final write off,
mm,
but that's all something you have to think about.
mm.
Um, yeah, man. Um,
Yeah, and when I say like solo videographer, I don't mean just like I want to just do it all by myself. You know what I mean? Because having a team is like it's great. You know what I mean? And not even just like a team for Leak Productions. Like I'm talking about team as far as like maybe I'm working with a set of barbers, or maybe I'm working with like lash techs, or just different stuff like that, tattoo artists. You know what I mean? And I'd say that I have a pretty good team as far as like if I ever needed a second videographer or something like that. I have people I can reach out to here, and we just do it to be able to do it for each other. You know what I mean? We don't expect to be paid anything. You know what I mean? And if we can pay him, or if we do get paid, then that's cool. But we just help out each other because that's what we like to do. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's as far as a team like that, that's great and that's cool. You know what I mean? But as far as growing Leak Productions, when I get to those bigger scale clients, things like that, that's when I'll start building a team. I want to be able to get full time on my own. You know what I mean? Before I get into getting a team. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And it's, I feel it, man. And that's understandable, right? And
Mm.
it's just me picking your brain right now because
Yeah.
there's gonna be people who don't have that, like, who don't know when,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
When to say, okay, this is when I need a team, right? Or
Mm.
and they they bite off more than they can chew and they jump too early,
Mm.
and then now you have a team and they're expecting to get paid, and your
Right.
clientele isn't high enough for that,
Yeah.
or you build your team too big, right?
Yeah.
And that happens too.
Yeah. I think with picking, it's like picking pieces of a puzzle. Like you got to know when, you know what I'm saying? So when you say when, the first thing I think of is clientele, how much clientele, how much clientele is coming like back to back, you know what I mean? And then how much is on your plate. So when I think as far as me doing it by myself, if I get to where I'm doing video shoots every day, and it's beginning to get too much, I'm raising my price up because obviously people are liking what I have, you know what I'm saying? So I should raise my own value up, you know what I mean? So I raise the price up, and then if people still keep coming, then I could see where I can fluctuate, like, because obviously I'm still working on the side. I can see how I can fluctuate working, like, my videography and my full-time job. Do I need to go down to a part-time job and then make more time for videography? And then that, just thinking of things like that, and like slowly putting down the other job and then raising up your business, you know what I mean? So when I say getting to a team, I'm thinking already this is my full-time job, you know what I mean? I don't have anything else, just full-time videography. I'm shooting videos like 3 times a day. I got files stacked up, you know what I mean? Obviously, well, it'd be stupid for me to set myself up like that anyways.
Yeah.
But when I'm getting so slammed and I've raised prices and like customers, just like clients just keep coming, you know what I mean? When it gets to a point where I'm like that, I'm like, okay, can I afford to like do like hire someone else for this? You know what I mean? Go over it. How have my clientele and my rates been like for like 3 months straight? You know what I'm saying? See how much I made this month, or how less I made this month. You know what I mean? So it's a bunch of different factors that go in. And
Yeah,
like,
and 100%, right?
mhm.
And it goes even down to at what point do you get an apprentice, right?
Right, yeah,
Rather
yeah,
than hiring someone, you get an apprentice, and they know that this is for experience, not for like payment, right?
yeah, yeah,
And and then you're giving them the knowledge that you have
yeah,
throughout the entire process, from shooting to, well, from how you handle customers to shooting to the breakdown of how much you get paid to editing to delivering final product, everything, right?
yeah,
And so you get that extra help, and they're getting that knowledge and that experience
right,
that is harder to get, right? It's harder to get that experience when you have no clientele. Would you agree?
yeah, I agree.
Right? So it's like this, right? It's like a flight instructor, right?
Mm,
I don't have enough hours. I don't have enough experience to fly commercially, but I have enough experience and enough knowledge to teach somebody else how to do it,
yeah,
right? So I don't have enough it would be like you don't have enough clientele to hire somebody, but you have enough experience, enough knowledge to teach somebody else.
right, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. And with that being said,
This has been an episode of Brotherly Beliefs.
if you guys like this episode, make sure to leave a like, comment what you guys would like to see, more things that you guys would like to hear. We're really striving to get our goals met, you know what I'm saying? It's the first quarter and we got 3 more to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is 3 months of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, 2.5.
Yeah.
But
yeah, make sure to check out our Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We'll be posting more content on TikTok soon. Just bear with us, you know what I mean?
yeah, Facebook too.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you check out Leak Productions
Yep.
for all your videography needs.
Yes, sir.
All
All right.
yeah.
We'll catch
Until
you guys
next
later.
time.